But anyway, I just feel so blessed. Oh, we're going back to the Garden of Eden. It's God provides everything, and the more we go back to have the consciousness of good, the consciousness of fairness, the consciousness of Him, he, she, it, whatever you want to call God, then the more we enter into this Garden of Eden, and we're blessed, and we are a blessing as we go out and take our consciousness around, even the people we pass in the store, because we exude love, we exude kindness, and that's what people are needing so bad these days. So I advise everybody to get on the spiritual path and learn, grow. You know, it said that there is an elf beside each flower saying, grow, grow, grow. And that's what we need to do, grow spiritually.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you for those nuggets and words of wisdom. I bless you, I praise you, and I so appreciate you. Reverend Nina Russell is a divine science minister. That's under the banner of New Thought. New Thought, there's Unity, there's Centers for Spiritual Living, there's Science of Mind, so there's a lot under that banner. And so Nina Russell from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, thank you for joining us on Spirituality Rocks.
My pleasure.
And so, Reverend Saba,
Yes.
I have been so excited about our coming guest, who is he's in Melbourne, Australia right now. He's joining us via Skype. And he is from the website freeneville.com, Mr. 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, and he talks all about Neville Goddard's work.
Excellent.
Yeah, and he's an NLP practitioner, he's an NLP expert, and he's just, I'm so excited because he's lived such a rich life, and he's a fantastic teacher of practical spirituality. So don't go far. Right after this commercial break, we'll be back with more of Spirituality Rocks with Mr. 2020.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am divine.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our 2 offices. Thank you.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Janine Burns, in the studio with my friend, Reverend Saba Mchunguzi of Unity Church of Healing Light. Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks.
And it's always great to be here.
It's fantastic to have you, and boy, do we have a fantastic show today. With us today from Melbourne, Australia, where I understand it's like 6 a.m. in the morning or something like that, is Mr. 2020 from freeneville.com. Welcome to Spirituality Rocks 2020.
Thank you. It is wonderful to be here, and I love your energy, love your show, and let's dive in and have some fun.
Absolutely. Now, what I just love is that your name literally is 2020. You legally adopted that name. Why'd you pick 2020?
Well, it picked me.
Okay.
I grew up in America, where America primarily has 2, let's say, energetic backgrounds. The Native American one, as well as the Judeo-Christian one, right? And in both of those cultures, if you look back, whenever you had a significant life change, your name often changed. Yes. It happens many times in the Bible. It happened many times in tribal cultures in America and worldwide. Mm-hmm. And so I was reading Napoleon Hill one day. Actually, I was listening to one of his rare recordings, and he was basically talking about how he came up with the title of Think and Grow Rich. His publisher wanted to publish it under Use Your Noodle to Get the Boodle because he couldn't come up with a good title. So Hill says, I went to bed and I prayed. I said, listen, I need $1 million title because I know this book can change the world. And I thought, that's cool. So I did the same kind of thing. I went to bed. I was doing a lot of good work on the internet with NLP, Native American Wisdom, a little bit of Neville Goddard back then, but not as much. And I basically went to bed and said, okay, my version of prayer at the time was, look, big guy, I need a shift. What's it going to be? Help me get the same kind of thing Napoleon Hill got. And I woke up with change your name to the number of perfect vision, because that's what it's all about, having vision, clarity, and focus.
Yes.
And I ignored that for 3 days. Oh. At the end of 3 days, I just said, well, it ain't going away, so I got to do it. So at 41 years of age, I did all the legal stuff, the fingerprints, the background checks, the court appearances and stuff, and here we are.
Fantastic. I figured it had a lot to do with 2020 and clarity, right, Reverend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So Your website, freeneville.com, is
Yep.
based upon the work of Neville Goddard, who was very popular in the United States in the 1950s, and I believe he filled up the Wilshire Theater in California with his teachings. And a lot
You
of his,
betcha.
yeah, and a lot of his work is actually Bible-based, which I find absolutely fantastic, that he looks at the Bible as metaphors and allegories and takes words from them. Now, on the site, you talk a lot about consciousness.
Yes.
And I would like you to please explain what you mean by consciousness, and then you use the phrase, consciousness is the only reality.
Absolutely. You know, Neville and every mystic that's ever been around that's been documented tends to say the same thing. And that tells me something, right? And my personal experience as well is consciousness is the only reality. And when I say that, you know, I can imagine, right, drinking a cup of coffee. And if I imagine it well enough, complete enough, I'm going to feel that coffee, and it's going to be just as well or just as real as if I got my actual coffee cup and took a sip, right?
Yes.
So whether it's quote unquote imagined or physical, notice I'm not saying real, right? Whether it's an imaginal act or whether it's a physical act, both of those are experienced in consciousness. Everything is experienced in consciousness. And so through consciousness, you know, everything is. And a lot of and I don't want to go in this direction a whole bunch, but even subatomic physics, quantum mechanics basically states all of this stuff wouldn't be here if consciousness wasn't here to experience it. So when you just go, I'm not my physical body, I'm what animates the physical body, I'm what experiences through the physical body, you really start getting up to light speed, and life gets really, really cool at that point.
Okay. Well, that's very similar to our unity teachings, whereby we say life is consciousness. The
Light is
consciousness
consciousness,
being
yes.
that which you are aware of. And what
Yeah.
that also means is that if you are aware primarily of the negatives in your life, and if you focus on those negatives, then that is what will dominate in your life and affairs, and you'll keep getting more and more of that. But if you focus on and you're aware of the truth, then you will experience more of the truth in terms of health, in terms of happiness, abundance, peace of mind, good relationships with others. So part of it is really what you are aware of and what you focus your attention on as well.
Indeed,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, there was a fascinating study done with people walking into a mall who found a $20 bill, right? So these researchers were dropping a $20 bill in front of the mall and they had people in the mall all ready to interview people that walked in. Now, half the people they interviewed picked up the $20 bill, half the people they interviewed did not. And they discovered the people that picked up the $20 bill were more optimistic than the people who didn't. Now, the obvious conclusion to that is, hey, if I found $20, I'd be an optimist, right? But there have been some other studies that have demonstrated that optimists tend to be more environmentally aware, which means if you're an optimist and you're more tuned into your inner and outer environment, you're going to notice more opportunities, like that $20 bill on the ground, or or whatever the opportunity is in your life. So there's this really fascinating correlation with willingness to be aware, willingness to shine that flashlight of attention around and notice what's going on in the world, and optimism. Because pessimists just sort of have that going on, but optimists tend to be doing this.
Right.
So it's fascinating when you look at how real this is. And if you go back again to tribal cultures, you needed that awareness to stay alive. Today we don't. Today we can walk around in pessimist mode and go to Safeway and get some meat. But in the old days, you needed to be aware so you could get dinner and not be dinner. So it's way cool.
Exactly. Exactly. I'd like to talk about the website for just a moment, and the website is freeneville.com. And what I love about the website is you give so many nuggets and so many ideas. You can sign up on the website, and every day you'll get something that's a good bite-sized portion to embrace and embody and to actualize in your life. And then if you choose to, you could buy a package. And what I also like is you have a coffee club. So tell us a little bit about your site and your intention, please.
Right. So, Yeah, this all started, I believe it was in 2007 or 2004. I can't remember. I should have looked that up. We put up freeneville.com. Well, actually, I did at the time, with the whole intent of giving away 221 of Neville Goddard's lectures free. So you could download this zip file, print out you got a stack about this big of Neville Goddard lectures and read until you're dead, pretty much, right? And so the problem that we ran into, or the opportunity, was I put my email address up there, and I said, listen, email me if you need any help, thinking if you need help unzipping the file or something like that, or if you find a bad PDF, let me know. Well, I started getting emails, first once a week and eventually once a day, with people saying, that Neville guy's great, but he's over my head. Can you explain this? Oh. And after sending out about 150, 200 emails, I thought, why don't I turn these into articles? And so freeneville.com went from just having 221 free lectures to you can still get the free lectures, but hey, every day, 5 days a week, we put a little bite-sized nugget on your plate so you can eat it and change your life. And it's just lovely because we meet so many cool people throughout the world, and some of them become paying clients, some don't, doesn't matter. Yeah, the ripples of love are just echoing and amplifying, and it's just it's a passion. And we also get to share photos of our lovely garden, which is way cool.
Yes, you do have a way cool garden. And I also like that you give us spiritual food. And we were saying, we've said before on the show that, it's a spiritual principle. You must give and then you receive. So on the website, and Neville even had a book called Feeling is the Secret. And what you talk about is feel it real. Let's tell us more about this, please.
Yeah, I'm a black belt. I got my first black belt when I was 18. And one of the things that I learned way back then that became really clear with Neville was there's two ways you can use your mind when it comes to imaginal work. One is visualization, like most people do, which is seeing a movie of you doing something. And that's great for two things, acquiring a skill and desensitizing yourself from a trauma. Because if you're watching a movie of your body, you're distant from the experience, and you can make adjustments to it. So as a young fellow learning martial arts, I'd imagine myself kicking like Bill Superfoot Wallace. And I would see my body moving like Bill and having all the fun, and that was great. That's visualization. But to bring it fully into your life, and again, this is the thing of Neville, which is so unique and brilliant. You've got to feel it real. You've got to see it as if it's through your own eyes. You get to experience it right now. So if I experience writer's block or just not in the best mood in the world, I stop, I do a session, and I see my hands on the keyboard writing, and I feel my body full of electricity and inspiration. And so I don't make a movie of my body writing. That would give me distance. Instead, I feel as if I'm writing right now. I just see my hands only on the keyboard. And when you feel it real like that, that's what Neville says the difference between success and failure is. Experience it firsthand, experience it now, or even better yet, construct an imaginal act, a scene that implies it's already done. Because if it's already done, like tying your shoes, you know you can tie your shoes. That's easy. So if you can imagine somebody, if you could imagine having put your shoes on, that implies you've already done tying your shoes, and it puts it in your resources, which just makes it, of course I can tie my shoes. Of course I'm a philanthropist. Of course I'm a successful author, writer, coach. Because I'm being congratulated for it, or I'm holding the results in my hand right now.
Right. Fantastic.
And it makes all the difference.
Yes, and I love the distinction at seeing yourself as, like the Bible says, act as if, rather than seeing the movie, because, that's out there.
Yes.
And then to embody that. And, I've just been reading your site so much, and so much of the goodies, and I know every morning when I wake up now, and every night before I go to bed, I am embracing some kind of feeling attached to something in my life, whether I'll do it, from my nieces and nephews, seeing them being happy and healthy, and they're very young, and seeing them to being inquisitive, etc., or just to see myself in vibrant good health, or anything in between.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And this also shows that we can always learn something new. We can always get a better or different understanding of the truth of these principles, of these spiritual principles. And feeling it real, to me, implies just putting your whole self into it.
Yes.
And not just being, an observer, but really feel, again, as it says, feeling it and being in it and just being it and doing it. And when you're able to do that, then as the saying goes, it's more real to you. And when it's more real to you, then you're more confident, you feel more capable about doing it.
Yes, exactly.
yes.
And you're impregnating
you know,
it. Go ahead.
We've got a fantastic story about a lady who observed an SUV, right?
Mm-hmm.
She imagined standing in her kitchen window, looking out of it and seeing the SUV, in the driveway, right? So every day she was just getting started with this, so she made a common mistake. Should imagine looking out the window and seeing the SUV, looking out the window and seeing the SUV. 3 weeks later, I believe it was, her neighbor got a brand new black SUV, right? and she got it because what Neville says to do is to make action of self predominant.
Right.
Construct an imaginal act that would imply your wish has been fulfilled and have action of self predominant. What does that mean? It means, like in my case, when I decided to buy a car after immigrating to Australia, I didn't have a car for a couple of years. I didn't need one. I work from home, right? So I can go shopping once a week using my wife's car. Well, I decided one day I want a car. So the imaginal act that I used to imply that I got a car was paying the insurance payment.
Okay.
And I just imagined Victoria saying, "Hey, 20, here's your insurance payment." And I get online and I go click real quick and I pay it with the computer, right? I'm happy to pay it because I've got plenty of money. I'm happy to pay it because I love the car. I'm happy to, and that all implies I'm happy. I've got a car. I've got great cash flow. Life is good. Versus seeing the car in the driveway, and the lady's driveway was right next to her neighbor's driveway. So, this is one of the reasons why if you focus on manifesting stuff and you notice, all my friends are getting what I want, you got to make action of self-predominant. You've got to be experiencing something that implies it's yours.
Yeah. That's a critical distinction. And I know there's a lot of teaching in the United States on the law of attraction and the word, that teaching. And I don't know if that distinction is clarified, and you make it so clear. I'm very excited about that you do that. That clarity there and how to embody it. And there's a lot of goodies on the website. So check out freeneville.com, and don't go too far because we'll be right back after this commercial break with Spirituality Rocks.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
I am Tom Mealy for the Harrison Law Group, and I have been telling you for years that getting involved in an automobile accident is no joke. This is what we do. We're not new at this game. If you've been involved in an accident of any kind, and you go to a law firm that says you have no case, it's simple. It's because they can't do it and they don't get it. You need to call us directly at 1-800-INJURY-LAW.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully,
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Janine Burns, in the studio with Saba Mchunguzi from Unity Church of Healing Light. We are on Huntington. We're in Huntington, Long Island. That's where the Spiritual Center is. Welcome back to the show.
Yes.
And on Skype, I'm so thrilled to have with us from Melbourne, Australia, 2020. And if you've been watching the show, that's his legal name, because this man has got clarity. And I know you had a question.
Yes. So the question was about visualizing and imagining, and there's some people who say, well, it's hard for me to visualize what I want. I mean, I know what I want, I can say it, but in terms of me actually visualizing it, I'm not able to do that. So, Mr. 2020, how can you help them? How can you help them to visualize better?
This is fantastic because this comes up, believe it or not, fairly often in coaching. And I've got two things to toss out real quick because we could really explore this one big time. But the first thing I always ask is, do you know where the milk is in the grocery store? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, right? So yeah, and I have them tell me about that. Well, they don't talk their way to the milk. Subconsciously, or outside of the attention of their flashlight, they know where the milk is visually because they've got a map of the store in their head, right? Yeah. So I tell them the good news is you can visualize because you know where milk is. Okay, you also know where eggs are and where the produce is in your grocery store. So you can visualize, but we don't got to focus on that because feeling is the secret. And years ago, I trained salespeople. And when someone says to you, well, that sounds like a good idea, or they say, well, that looks pretty good, odds are they're not going to buy. But if they tell you, you know what, that feels fantastic, this feels like it'll fit my business like a glove, they're going to sign on the dotted line. And literally, the only thing your body can do, the only thing the universe can do is say yes. That's it. It's going to say yes to something. And what it says yes to is what you feel. So for the people that can't visualize, that's all right. Just tell them, look, read all the articles, so on and so forth. But you can, some people hear better. Neville actually could hear better than he could visualize. So he would actually hear success stories, or hear somebody congratulating him, or hear the joy in their voice. And some people, they just go straight into the feeling. They can just sit there and go, oh yeah, I can feel, I feel like cruise. I can feel the sun on my skin right now. They don't have to see nothing. They don't have to hear nothing. They can just feel the feeling. So whatever your strongest one is, do that first. And if you do that, whether it's in feeling it real or in daily life, always do your strengths and develop your weaknesses later. If you can't visualize now, that's all right. You know you can, because you know where milk is. And we can cover how to help you do that better if you want to. Other than that, figure out if it's feeling or sound and focus on that. And just watch the universe go yes, because that's all it can do.
This whole show tonight, I just feel like cheering the whole time, going woo-hoo.
That's how you feel, huh?
Ooh, 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 ooh. So seeing with the head and seeing with the heart is something that I've read about on freeneville.com. Please tell us about that.
Wow. We've got the head, the heart, and the belly. I'll go a little bit beyond just the head and the heart.
Okay.
The head's got a job. The head's job is to go yes, no, good, bad, right, wrong. That's what the head does. Organic or free range, right? The head just does this all day long. That's the head's job. Thank God that's what it does. Okay. The heart, on the other hand, just wants to feel. And when we're coming from the heart, we just want to feel. And if you think of the movie Love Story was the classic feeling movie. She's going to live, she's going to die, they're falling in love, it's heartbreaking, it's wonderful. God, I wish I had that without the ending. But the heart just wants to feel. And there's so much power in the heart when it comes to feeling and coming from the heart. And then there's the belly. And what the belly is, if you look at images of all the Buddhas, for example, and all the Hindu gods, and even Jesus, there's something beautiful about the belly. And the belly is simple presence. So where the head wants to sort it out, pick the right one, the heart just wants to just the belly is just going, all right, cool, I'm on that cruise. I am that author. I am that philanthropist. And so we have a journey that's about 20 inches. And every time we make that journey, everything shifts, and it's just lovely.
Indeed.
That was profound.
That was profound.
The belly concept, that idea, which is the peace and the stillness, it seems like, and I guess the knowingness.
Yes.
I mean, that's a profound idea, and it's something that more people need to learn about, and we need to hear more about that from you.
Indeed. Well, even before we heard next time he's on the show. So, okay so we're good. But you know what? Before the next commercial break, I'd like to really jump into this idea about the power of our words. And I know I read something recently on freeneville.com, and we do have a banner across the screen for when you are on, so people can readily check that out. But there was a distinction between spending and investing. Please talk about that to the people.
I missed the last couple words, I'm sorry.
Spending and investing, what was the distinction there?
Yeah, every moment of your life can be a spending or investing. Neville actually got this message from his wife. His wife had a dream, and in the dream, she basically got that we're supposed to invest everything and not to spend. When you think about investing, I walked past the homeless man 2 weeks ago when I was in downtown Melbourne, and I didn't spend my thought. I invested it. I imagined him being happy. I imagined him having what he needed. So just a few moments of time, I'm investing that. I'm not going, it's a shame society is like this. It's I wish somebody would do something. Maybe I'll give them $1. All that's think-a-do stuff. Instead, I invest. I just imagine lovingly for this man and just continue on my day. Investing can be something as simple as what kind of YouTube video are you going to watch? You know, I do watch a couple entertaining videos once in a while. That's all good. But choosing to watch a video that may help me with my writing or my outreach or my ministry, again, that's an investment. So everything we do, we can spend it or we can invest it. And that tiny little distinction of noticing, what am I investing in today? How am I investing today? How am I investing this moment? Even this interview, you know, it's all an investment. Yeah, I'm investing in not just me, but in the world, in consciousness. Because sharing this truth, as you guys know, sharing this truth, everybody wins. And that's the key with investing. Never spend. You know, we could idle chit-chat about nothing. You know, hey, how about the bucks, you know? Or we can just go, wow, how about, how do we help people make some bucks? Yeah, how do we open up to prosperity? And that's what makes the difference right there.
Ooh, more good nuggets, huh,
Yes,
Saba?
yes. And the investing implies there being a return of some sort for yourself and for yourself and the other person. Like you said, the homeless person that you passed in the street, you investing in them and that bettering and improving their lives.
Exactly.
Yes. Neville talks about the law of implication. We also call it the law of, I just lost the word. You just said it. But the law of expectation. There we go.
Okay.
Because if I expect, when I cast my bread on the water, and when I expect massive returns for the world, because I'm one with the world. There's this thing called oneness. Oneness is, we are one with the spirit that moves through all things. We are one with this consciousness. There's only one God, one imagination. So when we realize this oneness, when I imagine good for you, it's also putting good vibe, quote unquote, into my system, into my world. And so there's always that expectation of, you know what? Do I need permission to pray for someone? No, not at all. We don't need permission to curse someone. So why would we need permission to give thanks for someone's good fortune? So we pray giving thanks for, you got what you want. You got what you wanted. Wow. How cool is that? And that, again, just invites all that. And it's all an investment. It's so easy.
It's so easy. Wonderful. Well, I trust the guests are going to be tuning in on the website to freeneville.com. So we're going to be back. We have a brief commercial break, and we have some more questions. We're going to talk about the silence and the silence of excellence. So we'll see you in just a moment with more of Spirituality Rocks.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
YesWeCare.net is a 501c3 charity that provides help to veterans and their families. Please visit YesWeCare.net and donate in any way you can by purchasing our beautiful frame prints or relaxation CDs and DVDs, even smooth jazz CDs. YesWeCare.net. Remember, our troops are on their way home. They need all the support they can get. YesWeCare.net.
I'm Erica Conway, and you're watching MadhouseTV.com.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Janine Burns, and I'm just checking out these little affirmation cards that I've made. They advertise Spirituality Rocks so that you can tell your friends, but on the back are affirmations and affirmative prayers. And I'd like to do one right now for our affirmative prayer that we like to do every week. It goes like this. I'm divinely guided in all I think, say, and do. Spirit expresses through me as love. This love radiates out and like a magnet draws to me whatever people and circumstances necessary for my peace of mind, greatest self-expression, nourishing relationships, and prosperity in every phase of my life. And so it is. Amen. You can get these if you like. I've written a whole bunch of them on the still small voice, self-confidence, etc. All you need to do is send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Post Office Box 472, Woodbury, New York. The address is on the screen, and we're happy to send these to you. Also, we have a spiritual prescription pad. If you send us a little sticky note inside that envelope on something you'd like an affirmation, we will write you a spiritual prescription to support you in your spiritual journey. And your spiritual prescription for today is to check out freeneville.com. It is to tell your friends about spiritualityrockstv.com. Next week, we have Terry McBride, who wrote the book, The Hell I Can't, which is really pretty exciting, how this man has just totally changed his life around. So he'll also be joining us on Skype. And the following weeks, we have so many great speakers. If you want to check out past shows, go to ustream.tv. Ustream.tv. In a little search box at the top, type in Spirituality Rocks, and you will have a myriad. There's like over 50 shows there of amazing speakers. We've had Mark Anthony Lord and Ken Gordon, Edwin Gaines, Barbara King, Carol Lawson, Frank Zamalan, Harry Morgan Moses, and the list goes on and on and on. But today we have a very exciting guest with us from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks 20.
Ooh, excellent. So where would we like to dive in now?
I'd like to dive in about the silence of excellence. The silence of excellence. You talk a lot about the silence. You know, when I was looking on the website, and one of the recent ones was you talked about paying attention to the space yes. Between words, the space between you and an object.
Right.
Talk to us about that.
If you zoom in, if we got the world's best microscope and we zoomed in really close, you'd discover that what? Everything's mostly what? Space. If we got the world's best telescope, right? And we've got some really cool ones down here in Australia if you go out into the outback, and we pointed it out to the stars, what would we find? Everything's mostly
space.
In our culture, we keep trying to cram in more and more stuff, thinking the stuff's going to be what makes us happy. We say more and more stuff, thinking that's what's going to make us seem intelligent or witty or wise. But one of the things that we want to do intellectually is where we've got to get it first in the head, then get it to the heart, to the belly. Intellectually, we've got to get, there's a balance of stuff in space. And odds are I'm not in balance with the rest of the universe, whether it's real small or real big. So let's invite a little bit more space in. So how do we do that? Well, we invite in a little bit more space by first feeling comfortable with space. Just being okay with it. We've got to just decide to be okay with feeling space, but to really, really generate more silence in our lives. And this is really key. I've worked with people that have meditated for 5 years, and they tell me, I can't find silence in my head. I can't find, the silence eludes me. No matter what I do, I can't find it. And I've had people in 15 minutes doing a couple tiny little exercises experience total silence. And the way to do that is to start noticing the space that's naturally in life right now. And I give 7 little exercises to do this. One of them is that you just mentioned. Listen to the space around the words. Even, when people listen back to the show, if they listen to one of my recordings or Neville's or, it doesn't matter who, or talking with a friend, notice the space around the words. Just put your attention on the space as well as the sounds. And you'll find that it'll take all that rackety crap in your head, and you'll drop into your heart and actually connect with them more. You'll feel where they're coming from, and you'll drop into your belly and actually be present more. By moving that flashlight of attention off the little dot and onto the rest of the whiteboard. When I teach live classes, one of the things I do almost every time, and even though if I told you this and I do this live, right, in front of you, you're still going to go for it. I have a big whiteboard, and I take a marker and I go, doof, and everybody goes, they get stuck on the dot. And that's the inner world as well. You're 99.9% silent all the time, every day. You've already mastered silence. The problem is your flashlight's always stuck on the dot. And so if we move the flashlight a little tiny bit by noticing the space around the words, for example, or noticing between bites of food. If we just notice between bites of food, it's real easy to lose 20 pounds. If you just notice the food, you're going to be cramming.
Yeah, it makes sense.
If you notice the space between the sensations of the food, you'll actually pick up more flavors in every food that you eat, and you'll be more satisfied eating less because you're noticing the first flavor hit, and oh my God, that turns almost sweet, and oh, there's a little bit of a pepper, because you're just taking your time, not forcefully, but you're actually enjoying the space around the bites, not just the bites. And if you do that, again, those are 2 of my 7 exercises. If you just do those, you're going to notice, you know what? My mind is 99.9% silent all the time. It always has been. I don't have to force myself into the silence. I can simply drop into it, which is what all the mystics do.
Right.
They just drop into what is, which is mostly space, mostly silent.
Right. And being mindful. Yeah. We have about 2.5 minutes left to the show. I have a big question I want to ask, and that is, Neville says you must imagine that others see your success too. So how do you do that?
Before I say how, I'm going to say why real quick, because this only takes 10 seconds.
Okay.
A lot of people are subconsciously afraid of, once I change, they won't love me. And that goes again back to tribal history. If they don't love you, they boot you out. If they boot you out, you become food. Right? So we've got to eliminate that right now.
Wow.
And the best way to do that is to have my wife say to me, hey, babe, here's your insurance bill. Good on you for paying it, for getting the car. That little tiny bit lets me know she's okay with me, having a car, creating an extra bill, all that stuff. Anytime you construct a congratulatory conversation, it implies your wish has been fulfilled. Okay. It implies that you're still loved by your friends, your family, your tribe. And it brings the thing that's most like you in the universe in cahoots with you. The thing most like you is another human being. So it's not just me in the car, the leather seats. I'm not leather, I'm not a seat, I'm not a car. But if it's me in the car with my best friend saying, 20, man, you did good. That changes something. That gets you from head to heart. And I'm just so glad to be with my friend in the belly.
Right.
There's the power.
Right. And then you're really living from the wish fulfilled.
Yes.
Yeah, which is a key component of Neville Goddard's teaching.
Yes.
Well, we have literally a
Fascinating.
minute, so we need to wrap up. What do you want to say in our little wrap up here? I know you've really enjoyed this
yeah,
show.
Yeah, this has been very, very fascinating, and I must go. I definitely will go to the website and really delve into it, and get all of that good information that's on there.
FreeNeville.com.
Okay.
So, Mr. 2020, what do you want to leave us with? What divine idea, what nugget of inspiration, what glean of truth do you want to impart to us?
Stop defining who and what you are so you can discover who and what you are.
Ooh.
When you define who and what you are, that's the only thing you're going to see.
Oh, wow.
And when you decide to stop and discover who and what you are, you get to that's the good stuff. That and email me at 2020@exhostage.com. I love getting emails. That's 2020@exhostage.com. I love getting emails. So bring them on. We love making friends.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much. We've just enjoyed you so much, all your wisdom. We bless you. We appreciate you. We love you. And thank you so much, Mr. 2020 from FreeNeville.com, for being on Spirituality Rocks. And join us next week with Terry McBride, and hopefully you'll be back next week. Thank you much, Reverend Saba Mchunguzi, Unity Church of Healing Light in Huntington. The website is?
UnityHuntingtonNY.org.
Fantastic. So we'll see you next week, and thank you so much for joining us on Spirituality Rocks.